My dear friends, today the Catholic Church remembers Teresa of Avila. For the Carmelite order, it is a great solemnity because we are remembering our mother who reformed our order. Saint Teresa is remembered fondly not just because she found God in her life, but also because she could effectively share this God experience to her sisters those days, and even she continues to share this God experience down the centuries, down the ages, even now to us. Therefore, she is a person worth mentioning, worth speaking about. I think the particular thing that helped her in this journey is mentioned in the fifth mansions, where she says, "Now I say to you that all of us who wear this holy habit are called to prayer and contemplation. We are descendants of those men who felt this call, who in great silence and solitude and contempt of the world sought after this treasure, this precious pearl of contemplation." My dear friends, she compares the Holy Fathers on Mount Carmel as those people who were in search of a treasure. Like Jesus said in the Gospel, the kingdom of God could be compared to a treasure hidden in a field, or maybe a merchant in search of fine pearls. So she compares prayer and contemplation to that treasure in the field, or the fine and precious pearl which a merchant is in search of. When you have found it, you go and sell all that you have just to possess this. And she was willing to give up everything. She was willing to give up everything. She traded everything just to possess this precious pearl, this treasure of contemplation. And she's inviting all of us who wear this holy habit of Carmel to seek after this treasure, this precious pearl of contemplation. My dear friends, this is not an easy journey, because in order to pursue this, what we need is a determination for solitude that comes with great silence and contempt of the world. There is a hymn in the Divine Office. The opening verses of the hymn goes this way: "Alone with none but thee, my God, I journey on my way. What need I fear when thou art near, O King of night and day? More safe am I within thy hands than if a host did round me stand." I think Teresa of Avila was particularly influenced by God, as it is mentioned in this hymn, because she found God to be the most consoling person. She found God to be her most surest escape, and she found God to be the most trustworthy person in this whole earth. And therefore she confided everything in her beloved, in her dear God. And there was nothing more precious for her than her God. And she found this joy in being alone with God. My dear friends, this is one thing we are all afraid of, to be alone and to be silent. Added to that, of course. To be silent and to be alone, we are all afraid of that, because we always want companionship. We always want somebody to talk to us. We always want to be in company of people. If we are left out, if there is nobody to talk to us, we are very much alarmed and we freak out. And that happens to most of us. But that, my dear brothers and sisters, is in fact a stepping stone to what we call as a journey to a spiritual rediscovery of self, because that is a time we get to go deeper into ourselves. That is one of the reasons why some of the early fathers, they departed from this world to places of silence and solitude to look into their own world. Because first they needed to still the storms of their personal lives in order to experience the God who dwells in them. So they went away from everything that is disturbing, everything that could be disturbing, to rediscover themselves. And once they discovered themselves, they came out forcefully into the world. Just like Jesus, who spent 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness to see into himself, Teresa of Avila sought to look into herself in the silence of the cloister. And all of us need to look into our own personal lives in the silence that we can find in our lives. Well, sometimes our life is too noisy. Now, when I look into the life of Teresa of Avila, I see that once upon a time, her life was also very noisy. She says how during her childhood days she was caught up in the ways of the world, reading books of chivalry, having loose talks with her cousins, and very disturbed and very noisy life. Thereby, her father sees that she needs a change and puts her in an Augustinian convent, where, with the help of the sisters there in the convent of Our Lady of Grace, she was able to come to the spirit of silence in her lives, which helped her in a great deal to go deeper into her own spiritual journey, in her spiritual life. My dear brothers and sisters, this is very important. This journey to be silent, this journey to rediscover oneself, this will help us to go deeper in the core of our being. And today, we are living in a world of two kinds of noises. One is a physical noise, another is a virtual noise. And therefore, we need silence on both these areas, a physical silence as well as a virtual silence. What is this physical silence? Of course, we talk to a lot of people physically, to our friends, to our companions, to everyone here and there. We need to talk to them. But what is our subject of discussion? That is very important. What are we talking about? It is really very important to have discernment there, because sometimes we are too noisy in order not to understand the subject matter of our discussion, which really leads to us being carried away by the passions of the world. That noise is very disturbing. We need to silence ourselves there. And the second noise and the silence that we need to have is the virtual silence. This virtual silence is all about the silence in the area of social media. Very often we are not effective speakers. Therefore, we are not able to speak out loud. And therefore, we become people who speak virtually through the social media posts, through our status, through our WhatsApp, or maybe all other social media platforms. We share our mind, our frustrations, our anger, our envy. All those things are shared there. Well, we need to have a check there as well. What are we really talking about? How we are talking about? To whom are we talking? What is the subject matter of our discussion? So, my dear friends, when we can attain a kind of silence in these two areas, I think we will make considerable progress. Because then we will start making our journey within, like Mother Mary, who treasured everything in her heart. That means to say, she entrusted everything to God, because our God, she believed, dwells in the depths of her being. So therefore, treasuring everything in the heart means surrendering everything to God, who dwells in the core of your being. Learn to surrender it there, and then you will begin your journey towards contemplation, because contemplation is not a journey you make outside. Prayer is not a journey you make outside. It's a journey you make within, inside. And Teresa found it. She found that was how the Holy Fathers on Mount Carmel practiced prayer and contemplation. So she wanted this journey inside. Therefore, we have this journey to the core of the mansions, the interior castle. She made this journey. And she's inviting us all, my dear brothers and sisters, to make this journey to the core of our being. Therefore, let us make this journey within, to the inside, to the core of our being, discovering our God who dwells there with great love, expecting eagerly for us. May God bless us all. And I wish you all a very happy feast of Saint Teresa of Avila.